Galatasaray come back from the long international break and right away drop points to Trabzonspor in the Black Sea. Serkan, we never looked like ourselves. The first half was listless. Listless, that's my word. We looked disorganized. Then we shockingly, so how surprised were you? We'll get into this first. That Okan actually made changes at halftime and didn't wait till the 70th minute.
Before that, let me ask you a question. When was the last time we made a comeback?
Last time we made a comeback in a game? I don't know.
For a single game that we made a comeback this year?
Well, yeah, it has not this year.
Not this year, right?
Yeah, we've done it before.
And the team was not ready to win today. We did absolutely nothing to deserve this game. Nothing at all.
So let's look at the lineup. So remember, because some people forgot, like one of my friends, Sane was still suspended because, that foul was so bad. He got 2 games. Osimhen still out. Now, he's supposed to be coming back sooner than they said, so we'll
Hopefully.
see. And then we got the big news on Friday. Somewhere, Sara was injured. And so if it wasn't hard enough, now all of a sudden, we're missing, however you want to look at it, 2 or 3 of our starters. And so Icardi starts in place of Osimhen. That was the big brouhaha. If you remember back before the Millie Takum first match, Twitter was a flush and it was kind of divided. If you love Galatasaray, you're pro Icardi. If you don't like Icardi, you're somehow almost a Fenerbahce supporter. That's how it felt. The camps were very divided about play Icardi, don't play Icardi, play Barsh, play Icardi. And then, of course, Yunus, who fancies himself a number 10, started in Sara's spot. Everything else was the same except for your boy Singo. He started in place of Shalai today. So Singo got in place of Shalai. I'm not sure why. Maybe because Shalai was off on Hungarian duty. Who knows? But we'll talk more about the national team stuff here in a little while. So yes, we're losing because of Nochu, who it's not going to be. There's going to be an African player that wins the goal crown this year. And it's not going to be Osimhen. It's going to be a Nacho because he got another goal. So he still leads the league. But let me compliment, what a pass for that header. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, the right back, Pina.
Yeah.
He made
Yeah.
a great,
Great.
yeah, great pass.
Let me give Trabzon their due. That was a wonderful pass and header. Nothing you could do about it. And so we subbed at halftime. Jakobs came off. I'm not sure why. Why do you think Jakobs came off?
He didn't play well.
Yeah, but he didn't play terrible. So Jakobs came out and Torreira. Let's spend a couple minutes on this.
Oh gosh. He had like 8 or 9 touches in the first 45 minutes, and he almost lost them all. All of them.
Yes. So if Torreira had maybe been off on Uruguayan duty and played 90 minutes plus extra time, okay. But he actually went home and hung out with his friends, I'm sure. Had a drink or two. I don't know. Looks like he had more than a drink or two, though, because, yes, he started, and for the first time, he was getting pushed around, having the ball taken away from him. I've not seen. So, yeah, it was not a good performance. When was the last time you saw Torreira ever taken off at halftime and ever taken off because of his performance?
That was one of the first in his entire career at Galatasaray.
It really was. And much like Torreira is going to be worried about his performance, if you're worried about the performance of your PC, let me tell you about our new sponsor and friend, NordVPN. Whether you're trying to watch a bootleg Galatasaray podcast and you're worried about those evil pirates getting your computer, it's going to protect you. Or if you're trying to watch a game out of market when you're on vacation or traveling or something from another country and you need to remotely be in that country, it's the one I use when I'm in Istanbul, NordVPN. We've got a great deal right now. You can get 74% off NordVPN, and depending on how much of the plan you do, a free Amazon gift card. That's going to take you from paying $11.59 a month to $3.39. So check our description, click the link, and protect your PC and watch Galatasaray stress-free, which we didn't do today because the whole game was stressful, Sircon. The whole game was stressful.
Yeah, it looks like the 7-point lead made us complacent, as if we had already secured the title.
Yeah, do you think the players might have watched our last episode?
Maybe, who knows?
and they saw that they could lose a game or two and still
Yeah, we
win?
we couldn't pass. We couldn't keep possession of the ball in midfield. When your midfielder loses all one-to-ones battles and getting dribble pass, you can't win the game. That's not the recipe, right?
No, that is not. It's like burning the chicken. That is not the
Right.
recipe.
We couldn't get a
Um,
single ball. We couldn't get a single ball to Icardi until the
well,
minutes 36 or 37.
right, but was it Cardi
He was
making it
another
easy to get?
problem in the game.
Was it Cardi making it easy to get the balls to him? I don't know.
He was another problem in the game.
Yeah, so Ilkay came in, and Ilkay played well. He came in at halftime, and so did Aaron. He came in for Jakobs, and it didn't take long. Boom! Here's Barish with his great pass to Singo. Nice calm finish. It's 1-1. Now I'll share a little backstory. I was on vacation this week, so I got my wife, my 15-year-old daughter, and her 15-year-old friend up at 4:30 a.m. this morning just so I could drive home and watch the game. Do you know how disappointed I was when we were losing the game that I got up at 4:30 in the morning to come home and watch?
You wish you had stayed where you were, right?
Eh. So we had to come home sometime. So at this point, it's tied, and you have to admit we looked better early in the second half.
We did.
And so I was thinking, okay, we're going to look for the second goal. We have players that are capable of great individual things. Dingo can do it. Icardi can do it. Barish can do it. Eunice can do it. Ilkay can do it. We've seen them all do it before. I didn't see any reason why they couldn't do it today.
That's the reason that I asked you that question. When was the last time that you see us coming back from a game?
Well, it's been a while. You've got to admit, Trabzonspor is good. They had a good plan.
We
Once
made
they
them.
got
We made them look good.
well, yeah, but they're still pretty good, bud.
We made them
I'm
look
not
good.
one of
I'm
these
telling
I'm
you.
not one of these Galatasaray people that's delusional enough to think that the only reason people beat us is because we play terrible. It takes a combination of us playing bad and them playing well, and they played well. They had some great passes. They got back in defense. Once they scored that second goal, they were going to make it extremely difficult for us to score. But we had plenty of opportunities. We had like 5 corners in like a 20-minute span.
I don't call them opportunities.
You don't call corners
How
opportunities?
many shots on goals did we have in the first half and in the second half?
First half, I think won the game. We had, let's see, 3. So we had 7 shots off target. They had 7 off target. The same. They had 4 shots on target. We had 3. Then we dominated possession. We had 61% of the
Nothing.
possession. Well, having the ball helps you score. So we possessed the ball more. They had 1 more shot on goal, and that was the one that mattered. You can see Sara being out, right? Barish was taking the corners. The first corner Barish does, where's it go? Over everybody. The second corner Barish did, where'd it go? Over everybody. The third one he did pretty good. Lamina had a header on goal, but we were missing opportunities because our normal guy that takes our corner is out. Then where was Barish this week? Now I'm going to get into the national team. Where was Barish? He was with the national team. He was there Tuesday, probably came back Wednesday because they were away, and maybe practiced today, maybe. And so you find out Sara is out when? Thursday, maybe? So now all of a sudden you're telling Barish, okay, you're going to be taking the corners. And how many corners do you think Barish takes in practice normally a day? Not many, because that's not him.
Not many, no.
Right. So now all of a sudden he's got like 1 day to try to get good at it. That's not going to happen. Yes. Hey, I know you're left wing. You're going to start at number 10 on the road against the second place team. Go get him, killer. Has he been practicing there all? And we couldn't really practice, right? Your keeper's not there. Half of your defense is off on national team duty. Half your midfield is gone, right?
I
And
don't want to
so
hide behind excuses, my man.
I'm just telling, I'm giving you reasons. Every time. And if you're a long-time watcher of Galatasaray like me, Serkan's, he started watching them like the last 2 years. He's one of those new fans. He doesn't know the history.
I don't know the history.
Think
All right.
back over the last 15 years. How many games have we came back after an international break and we look like crap? We play terrible and we draw and lose them, or we have to come back at the end. It always happens. Why?
That's why we have this squad depth. That's why we had those players on the bench.
I know, but the entire squad, even some of our depth players were off on national team duty. Holland took Noah Lang with his thumb. He couldn't use it.
So what? We're not going to play those games after the international breaks, or we're just going to let it go and let them get
No,
those
you
2
have to.
points?
What I'm saying is, if this game had been at home, different animal. You come back after national team break and you've got to go to Paparas Park and play a good team. You've got to bring your A game and be ready to go. So now we're going there after barely practicing, and we really need to practice. Why? Because we were without our biggest weapon. Osimhen is our offense. Like it or not, he's the main cog in the offense. So when you lose Osimhen, if you're going to be able to thrive, not just survive, thrive, you've got to have an offense that can work without him. So he's not there. Barish was gone. Yunus was gone. So your 2 wingers are gone.
And Icardi is in Argentina or Italy.
But look, Sané was with Germany. Lang's with Holland. Barish and Yunus were with the national team.
Lang played a single minute.
Yeah, so I know, but they were gone. They were gone. A normal situation like this, you would want whoever was going to be in this new lineup that you had playing that way, able to practice all week. We didn't. Trabzonspor's half of their team wasn't gone on national team duty. They just weren't. And you're going on the road. So yeah, you're missing Osimhen. You can't make up for him because you can't practice. Then your midfielder's gone. You found out about that. We were going to have to play like out of our minds to win the game. I was going to be happy with a draw, and we lost. We lost.
He was toying with us all game.
He's really good.
He's really good. So
Yeah.
speaking of Onachi, what do you think about Icardi? People have been talking about him on social media.
So it's hard. It's hard to say. I hate to say much because you can't compare a 25-year-old Osimhen to a 32, 33-year-old Icardi who's had a major injury. They're just 2 different type of strikers. Do I think Icardi's someone that you can build your offense around now to win the league? No.
We cannot rely on him for a consistent performance anymore.
No.
He's not that guy.
No, he's not. And you saw it today. So I think, and remember, we're down to a 1-point lead now, 1-point lead, but we have the game in hand against Göztepe, and that game is on Wednesday. So you got Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. You got 3 days where they can practice a little bit more. Everybody's back here. We'll have Sané back from suspension. So I think it's going to be Barish at forward with Sané and Lang.
No, he's not going to do that. He's not going to do that. Icardi will play in the first 11.
Well, all right. What would you do?
I will definitely put Icardi on the bench if it was me.
Well, who would you play?
But Barish will play as a striker.
Okay, good.
He had play in that position multiple times last year and the year before that.
Yeah.
But we're talking about a star player, right? In fact, in one of our previous videos, I mentioned that we lost Icardi for good.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
knows that he's only playing because Osimhen is unavailable. And he doesn't accept that fact. He doesn't accept that reality. That's the problem.
Well, and they've made it public now. This is it for him. He's not coming back next year. He
Right.
knows it.
Because of this, he gives only as much as he chooses to give. Nothing beyond that. Every time there's a break, Icardi disappears. Icardi is in Italy. Icardi is in Argentina and asks for an extension. He returns late. To me, that's a lack of commitment.
Well, and you see it in the game, right? Our game is built on a high press, right? Osimhen is great at it. Icardi doesn't do it.
But he used to
Cut,
do
cut.
that. He used to do that.
I don't think he can physically do it now.
So why is he not working out then? If
I
that's
don't
a
know.
physical thing, to me,
I
that's a
don't know.
solvable problem.
Maybe Ocon doesn't make him. I don't know. I don't know.
That's what I told you. We lost him permanently. He's gone. There's no need to play Icardi.
Well, so we got the 1 point lead today. The game in hand Wednesday. Tomorrow is Besiktas Fenerbahce. So we could have 2 points on our tail by one. So we can't mess around going to Izmir to play Ghost Tepe. We said we could lose a match and win the title. We lost the match. So that's gone. So you cannot go to Ghost Tepe and lose. Then we can get back home. Still playing on the road two games in a row. Then we'll go back home. We'll have Kocaelispor. And Fenerbahce's coming soon. 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. 3 weeks from tomorrow. So it's coming soon. I think we have Gençler. I think we have Kocaelispor, Gençlerbirliğ, a cup game, and Fenerbahce. And so apparently Osimhen's going to be back somewhere in there, which is good.
We need him back as
And
soon as
and
possible.
again, I've done the research. Once it's healed for a couple weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, you can play with a brace that's legal.
But is that going to affect how he plays?
No, it's kind of like, have you ever seen a NFL lineman play with a cast on their arm? They use the cast to bash the other players in the helmet because it can't hurt them.
Because he's the guy that does a lot of one-to-one battles.
Right, but you
I
know,
don't know if
you know,
that's
what,
going to
you know,
affect the way that he performs.
you know what I mean. Though you've
Yep,
seen
yeah,
like,
I know what you're saying.
yeah, they'll use the cast like a club and
Okay,
like whack people with it.
yeah.
So if he's got something on there that's strong, he can actually use it as a way to push off, and it's stronger than even his bone would be.
Well, we need him back as soon as possible. This is not going to go well with Icardi.
No, it didn't go well, and he played the full 90 today, and I wouldn't think you're going to ask him to play the full 90 again on Wednesday.
For those who think that we should sign a contract with Icardi, just think about it again, please.
I'm not one of those people.
Hopefully you're
I mean,
not.
it's been fun. He can play as a sub. We can win our 4th title in a row. We can, you know that big celebration deal? We can bring Simgi back out live like we did a few years ago. They can sing together. Everybody can sing and be happy. Then we can
We gotta be thankful
say
for
bye-bye.
what he has done so far.
Yes.
But that's it. I don't see us signing a contract with Icardi and keep him on the bench next year. This is not gonna happen.
I agree.
Those times that we're on the same page, I'm really surprised by that.
Yeah, we are. Oh, and I also think that Shalai needs to start. I want Shalai and Singo on the field at the same time.
I don't know why we waited 70 minutes to bring him in.
I'm not sure either. So maybe Shalai on the wing and Singo at right back.
It should work out well, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't know. No Noah Lang. He just he didn't make his presence felt today.
Well, he has an excuse. So this finger problem, I don't know how bad it is. I haven't seen the pictures yet. Um, but that's understandable from my side.
All right, I'll let it slide then.
Yeah,
We'll see how
we'll
it
let
goes
it
on
slide
Wednesday.
in. Yeah, he wasn't the problem today. The problem was the midfield. We couldn't get any possession in midfield.
Nope. I'll use a fancy technical term. We had no link up play.
That's right. That's the right term to use. Yes.
You like that, didn't you? That's fancy. Link up play. Oh, and let's throw this in. Liverpool loses to Man City 4-0 and knocked out of the cup. How you like that, Liverpool? How you like that? You want to chirp some more? You want to chirp some more?
That was a slap on the face.
I, I love it. I've never had a reason to hate a Premier League team, but now I've got one. So now I
Yep.
look their league, look their league
They
scores.
earned an enemy.
Yeah, but keep your heads up, Galatasaray Nation. We'll win on Wednesday. We'll be back 4 points clear. Then nothing's going to stop us because the the season is going to be over soon, Sarkhan. Too soon.
It is six,
There's just
seven,
weeks
seven
left.
more games, I guess. 6 or 7.
And like people in my WhatsApp group are complaining about how we're playing. I'm like, just try to enjoy the game. Soon it's going to be June, and we won't have this anymore. It'll be sad.
Well, we want to win the title, right?
Yeah, we won't win the title.
So let's
But
just win the
hey,
title.
we'll win the title. Then June won't be sad. You know why? Because this year we'll have the Millie talking and watching the World Cup.
Yeah, that's super exciting.
And then
You're coming here.
Barish, Eunice, Abdul Karim, Aaron,
Urja.
maybe, or John. They're all coming to America. We need to find out. We need to find out where they're going to have their training camp. We should go visit.
Spain is training in Chattanooga. That's all I know. But
Oh, we could go see Morato.
is he going to call up to the national team? I don't know.
Yeah, he's been playing with them. We could ask him what really happened at that championship celebration. That'd be fun. That'll be fun.
Sounds like a good plan.
I know, I know. So yeah, if you're sad, call one of your friends like me and Serkan here. You'll be laughing before too much longer. Then we'll all feel good tomorrow when Besiktas get 3 points
Yeah, Trabzonspor is in the title race.
for sure. Oh, they're yeah,
Yeah, they're 4
firmly and
points
squarely,
behind
baby.
us. Even if we win the game on Wednesday, they're gonna be 4 points behind us.
Hmm.
But they're definitely in the title race.
But if you remember our title preview, they do have the hardest path. They have the hardest path to the title as far as tough games to play.
Yeah, but those tough games, I mean, those are the games that are hard to predict. You never know.
They're also hard to win.
Yeah, like the game today.
That's correct. All right. Hang in there. We'll be back with you on Wednesday, hopefully after we beat Ghost Tepe, and then we'll be many points ahead of everybody else. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you're enjoying everything here, think about subscribing and hadi, imbuk, jimbom.